usual this month, for book club, instead of meeting at the school, we're going to try to do it online. So hopefully you had a chance to watch the video where I read the book Emma. This is our book for this month. It's by Wendy Kesselman and it's illustrated by my all-time favorite illustrator, Barbara Cooney. Hopefully you got a chance to watch the book being read on the video, and maybe you even got a chance to complete the other art project. This month I'm offering 2 art projects in case some of you want to try both, or maybe for some of you this one might be simpler. It has simple lines, but it's still a lot of fun and there's a lot of ways to be creative with it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The supplies are the same as the last one. You just need a paper plate with 3 colors. You need your color of choice, and then you just need some black and white paint for tinting and shading. You need a piece of paper. If you have construction paper, that will work best. If you don't, go ahead and use just printer paper. Just tape 2 pieces together and then flip it over. If you do use printer paper, it tends to be a little thinner, so you might want to put something underneath it so it doesn't seep through to your tabletop. You just need a clear jar of water and some paper towels for blotting. And then just like at book club, it's best to have 3 sizes of brushes. If you have a large, a medium, and a small, that's great. A detail brush will be awesome if you want to add some creative details of your own at the end of the project. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our largest brush, and we're going to cover some ground as we create the bottom of our picture, which is going to be an ice cream cone. So go ahead and get your brush wet and go ahead and tap it on the sides of your brush to get any excess water out. And then you're going to come on over and bring it to your color that's on your plate. Now, if you watched the other video, you know that we're painting in a style that's called monochromatic. Mono means one, and chromatic for color. We're going to use one color on our whole painting. I have orange at home, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. I'm going to add white to my orange to tint it, and I'm going to add a little bit of black later to shade it. Those are going to give me all of the variations of the color orange that I'm going to use in my painting. I really challenge you to stay with the monochromatic theme and only use one color for this project. So we've got our wet paintbrush. We're going to go ahead and dip the tip. I know you know how to do this. You're going to dip the tip. If you're using a flat brush, dip both sides, and you can even go ahead and pull your paint away from the little glob that you have on your plate, and you're going to dip both sides. We're just dipping the tip. We're not dipping all the way up the paintbrush, okay? You can dip the tip as well if you have a flat brush. Then we're going to come on down to our paper, and on the very bottom of our paper, we're going to draw a triangle as the ice cream cone, and we're going to draw it facing down. So it kind of looks like an upside down triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and outline it, and then I'm going to use my fat paintbrush to fill it in. Now, whenever you see white streaking like this, you know that you need more water to your brush. So I'm going to put a little bit more water on my brush, pull it through my paint again, load my paintbrush, and fill in my ice cream cone. So you can make your ice cream cone facing downwards just like mine. So here's a great example of when we need more water to our paint, that our paint is just too thick. I'm just using craft paint, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Tempera or acrylic will work best. If you don't have those, go ahead and use your watercolors that you've used at book club. It'll look a little bit different, but you can still have fun doing the project. So I'm going to fill in my ice cream cone so it's solid. And this is going to be the only place in the picture where we use our original color. So for me, that's orange, and I haven't added any white or any black. Whatever color you've chosen, that's going to be your solid triangle. Wash out my paintbrush now, and I'm going to go ahead and do my first scoop of my ice cream cone. So when we have a darker color, we just want to add a little bit of white too. We're going to continue to pull that orange over a little bit, and I'm just going to take the corner of my white and add it to my orange. I just want a little bit of a different variation with my color. I'm gonna add another little swipe, and I do see that I'm adding my white to my orange. The farther we go, we're gonna add orange to the white. But here we go. Can you see the difference? Now, if I build it right next to my original color, it's really easy to tell when I've got a color that I like, that I've added enough white to. So once I'm sure that it's mixed well enough, I'm gonna go ahead with my first scoop. So I'm gonna take my brush, load the tip on both sides, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a rounded ice cream scoop. I'm gonna start on the left-hand side, and I'm gonna come over in a round scoop, followed by another round scoop, and maybe a smaller one right there. And I'm gonna make sure I trace the bottom line of my ice cream cone so my colors don't bleed. So I'm just gonna follow that line right across, And then I'm going to go ahead and paint in the rest of my ice cream cone. Go ahead and work on that. If you ever need to pause the video to take your time, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and work on your first scoop of ice cream. Okay, we're ready for our second scoop. Again, I'm gonna take my orange and I'm gonna fill up this spot right here, but this time I'm gonna add a significant amount of white to my orange. And as you can tell, you can see, I have my dark orange, a medium orange, I'm getting to a lighter orange right now. I'm ready for a second scoop. So I'm gonna come on up, and this time I'm gonna do my bigger bump right here and a smaller bump to the side. And I'm gonna do the same thing by taking my brush and tracing my scoop so that these two scoops don't blend. If you want to switch to a medium-sized brush right now, that would probably be a good idea to get a little bit more brush control. Once you've got that, you're gonna fill in your second scoop. So once I'm done using my large brush, I'm gonna rinse it out. We never wanna leave paint in our brushes. We wanna try to keep good care of them. So I'm gonna rinse it one more time, get it nice and clean, blot it on my paper towel. I'll set it back there and I'll get my medium-sized brush. I'm gonna wet my medium brush, tap it on my jar. Now here I have my medium paint. I'm gonna pull one more big swipe of paint, and this time I'm gonna leave even more white to it. As you can see right here, you can see the gradation. It goes dark, medium, a little bit lighter. Now I'm getting pretty light. This is gonna be my third scoop of my ice cream cone. So once I've got that mixed really well, I'm gonna take my medium-sized brush, and this time I'm gonna add a small bump on this side for my scoop, and I'll go bigger on this one, and then I'm gonna go small again right here to finish off my scoop. So there's my 3 scoops of ice cream. They almost look like 3 clouds sitting on top of each other. I'm gonna take my paintbrush and I'm gonna trace my line right there to make sure my colors don't blend, and then I'm just gonna fill in the white. What do we need on top of a good ice cream? We're definitely gonna need some whipped cream. So I'm gonna come on in, and this time I'm gonna take my white paint and I'm gonna pull it to the side this way. Just with a little bit of orange that I had left on my brush, I might even be able to make my last color. I want it to look like whipped cream with just a hint of orange in it. So that's pretty good, but I think I need a tad more orange. I'm actually just gonna come next door right here to this lighter orange and borrow a little bit from him. And I'm gonna make a really pale white. This is my last color. So we can see we've made 5 colors. We started with orange, got a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, all the way pale. We got lighter and lighter by adding white, which is called what? Hopefully you said tinting. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna do is add my whipped cream. So I'm up at the top and I'm just gonna practice making like the shape of an S. So I'm gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna go S, back, and that kind of makes the shape of whipped cream. I'm gonna go back in and fill it in and close off the top. So that's kind of like my pillowy cloud of whipped cream. It kind of looks like 2 pillows sitting on top of each other. So here's the shape again. It goes S, S, and then you're gonna close it together. And that is my whipped cream on top of my ice cream. Hopefully you've left a little bit of room, because now we're gonna go back and add our cherry on top. We're done with our medium brush, so we're gonna rinse it out as best we can. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to look like I have like a fruit punch or something in my water. So our water's turning pretty orange, or whatever color you've used. We're gonna do our best to wash out our brush, dry it off, and now I'm gonna take my little brush. If this is the smallest you have, you can use it. You're gonna dip it in the water, tap it off, and this time I'm gonna come over to my orange, and I'm gonna pull a little bit of orange to the side. And this time I'm gonna take just the corner of my brush. I'm gonna tap it in the black, and it's gonna give me kind of a murky color. So for orange, it's gonna give me a rust orange. If you're doing purple, it's gonna give you like a deep, dark purple. If you're doing green, you're gonna see like a pine green. If you're gonna do yellow, it's gonna look like a mustard yellow. So it kind of just dirties up whatever color you've chosen. So here we have, that's my darkest color. I got that by just shading it with a little bit of black. Got my black there in my orange. I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm gonna make my cherry on top. I'm actually gonna switch to my smaller brush because I don't have very much room at the top for my cherry, and I feel more comfortable if I have a detailed brush. So I have my little tiny brush right here, and I'm gonna add it to my dark color, that's my cherry color, and I'm gonna go in and add my cherry. And I'm gonna fill my cherry in. Just like that. Okay, once you have your cherry on top, you're gonna rinse out your brush one last time, my detail brush, and I'm just gonna pick up plain black. On the very tip of my brush, just dip the tip, dip the tip. I have a little bit of black, and I wish I had more space, but I didn't, but maybe you do. And I'm gonna add my stem on top of my cherry. And mine's just gonna go right off the page because I ran out of room, so it's gonna look like my cherry's going right off the top. Then I'm gonna come back in for a little bit of detail. We have dark orange, medium light, light, and pale. We go right on up. Now what I'm gonna do to add some detail is I'm going to continue with a little bit more of this orange. And if I need to add a touch more black, I have black on my brush, so I'd probably be okay. Need a little bit of water to thin it out. I'm gonna come back in and add the stripes on my ice cream cone to make it look like a waffle print. So I'm gonna dip the tip. If you're starting to get gloppy, you can always wipe it on your paper towel and roll it so you can redo it and just dip the tip. But I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna paint the stripes of my ice cream cone. So I'm just gonna make diagonal stripes going down my ice cream cone. As your paper dries, it might get wavy like mine. I'm gonna just add diagonal stripes all the way across, one direction and then the other. And there's my ice cream cone. Now here's the fun part. Let's go on in, add some sprinkles and maybe even some chocolate syrup. So with your same brush, that detailed brush, you're gonna take, I'm gonna pull even more black in and see if I can't even get it a little bit murkier than that, and I'm gonna make my chocolate syrup with this really dark orange. And I'm gonna add a little bit of water so it's really smooth when I paint it. And I think my chocolate syrup is gonna be on this one. So I can take it and I can just make a zigzaggy line snaking back and forth across my ice cream cone. So there's my chocolate sauce going down my ice cream cone. And the last thing I'm gonna do is go up to my lightest scoop of ice cream, really give your brush a good wash, clean it off with your paper towel, and then I'm gonna go to my last scoop of my ice cream and I'm gonna make sprinkles. I'm gonna take my detailed brush, dip the tip, and then I'm just gonna go in and make sprinkles on my ice cream scoop. And they're just little lines going different directions. And I can do multiple shades that are left over on my plate, or I can start with just my original shade, which is my pure color. If I want to add some lighter one, I can go to the medium one, pick up a little bit of paint there, and add some medium sprinkles. If you want to add some sprinkles to your top, you're more than welcome to do that too. And there you have your ice cream cone. All right, thank you for joining us. You guys, this is so fun to be able to meet up with you. If you actually did the art project, have your mom snap a picture of it and send it on over to Sarah, and we'll get them posted and we can all enjoy each other's artwork until we're back together again. Thanks so much for watching.